Alright, welcome back to JRO Plays. I'm here with Natalia.
Yo!
And we are still reading Sonic's Harem. Where we left off. Flashback!
We are flashing back. Sonic is now beginning to tell his story of what he has gone and what adventure he just had.
His sextapades.
This is a pretty cool setup. I like the idea of just Sonic going around. It's a very interesting beginning, but it's just going around being like, I've had a lot of sex. Mario's like, how much sex? And Sonic's like, let me tell you.
Let me tell you about every sex I've had.
Every single one of them. Alright.
Here we go. Flashback.
Deep within the confines of Xavier's School for Gifted Children, Sonic was currently sitting down with the heroic, kind-hearted telepath, speaking with him about his experience. All the while, they sipped tea, and that was freshly brewed as his trusted assistant and telepath, Jean Grey, a.k.a. Phoenix.
Glad to see you share my sentiments about my students. While rough around the edges, they truly come a long way since they first started here. And if you ask me, they're shaping up to be the finest examples of what a person should be.
Professor X stated. You don't say, Sonic replied. I have to say, Professor, you've done an amazing job teaching and raising these, as you call them, mutants.
That's not what I call them. That's racist as shit, but thank you.
The professor said, his expression and tone showing a slight bit of frustration.
Although the real fight is really trying to be accepted by humanity, who unfortunately don't quite see us as you do. To them, we're monsters, outcasts to society, and all because we're different compared to most of them.
I expect about as much. Humanity never quite understood that they don't always have to fear what they don't understand, but overall, I hope you're ignoring the hate and keeping your head up.
Just ignore the hate and smash that subscribe button. Fuck the haters, said Xavier. Of course we are,
Xavier replied.
And of course I'd be lying if I said I didn't have anything to do with the fact that the situation is at least far better than what it used to be. As we have those such as Captain America, and other pockets of humanity who do fight to end the prejudice, which is better than having no support at all.
I wholeheartedly agree. I bet it doesn't get any easier, though, with the Brotherhood. The professor nodded. Thanks to a conversation they had had earlier, both him and Sonic knew exactly why the Brotherhood was as aggressive and vigilant as they were as their leader, the ruthless Magneto, believed that mutants, otherwise known as their subspecies Homo superior, could not coexist with humans, and that they were the next stage in evolution of the human race, and that if they were going to abuse them, they needed to wipe them off the face of the earth. Noticing the professor's silence, the blur continued on. You know, he reminds me quite a bit about my arch-nemesis, Sonic then quickly added. Well, if my nemesis was a racist towards an entire species.
So not at all. Is that so?
Yeah. I have to stop him every now and... No, scratch that. I've had to stop him countless times, and no matter how many times I topple his machines or crush his hopes and conquer the world, he still has no one he ever considered... He has not once... Whoa. He has not one ever considered giving up.
Wait. I topple his machines or crush his hopes to conquer the world. He still has not one even considered giving up.
I think he meant to say
once.
Not once. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why. That's why I was reading. I was like, not what? Whoa. Oh, okay. And then as soon as I realized what it was at, I was like, oh.
Also, this isn't about you, Sonic. Jesus Christ, you self-centered piece of shit. Well, it sounds like you have quite a lot of responsibilities.
You could say that. I may live for the love of an adventure, but unlike some, I don't like to abuse my powers for self-gain. I work as hard as I can to protect the planet, to keep my promises of people to live on, and will do whatever it takes to keep them safe, no matter what. Touched to see yet another living being who saw the value of life like he did, the professor's lips curled into a wide and warm smile as he took Sonic's cup and refilled his tea.
And that's why my students admire you. They don't see you as just an average hero. Rather, they look up to you as a symbol of hope.
A symbol of hope.
A symbol of hope.
Xavier began.
They view you as an inspiring example of what they're capable of and exactly how they should behave. It's thanks to you that less and less of them think of defecting to the Brotherhood or giving up. You help keep their spirits going when there's no one else that can.
Thank you, Professor. Though I am just doing my job of keeping the promise I made to myself. I'm not striving to be famous.
Oh, trust me, I can already tell that much.
Sonic returned with a warm smile to the professor and took another sip of his newly replenished cup of tea. They talked for a little bit more until finally their attention diverted when they heard the sound of a door rustling a slight bit, and right as they turned their heads, a familiar, stocky, yellow and blue garbed Canadian hero poked his head out. Hey, Charles, mind if... Oh, hey, Speedy, didn't know you were here. Wolverine greeted. How's it going, Knucklehead? Sonic greeted back.
That's good. I actually like that.
I am 100% going to use Knucklehead as a fucking...
Absolutely.
How's your arm doing after that sparring match we had? I hope I didn't mess you up too bad. Logan smirked. Oh, trust me. Once you've been through having an adamantium ripped from your skeleton, everything feels like a Sunday breeze. Don't worry, buddy. Those energy attacks of yours may have hurt like hell, but it'll take a lot more than that to put me down. Good to hear, Sonic said with a chuckle. Moving on, though, what do you need the professor for?
Well, actually, that's none of your fucking business, Hedgehog.
Private matters.
Yep,
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Private matters.
I jumped the gun on that. Yeah,
The hero
good for you,
responded quite
Wolverine.
brusquely. Well then, in that case, I'll be out of your way then. Sonic began as he stood up in his comfy leather chair. It was great talking to you, Professor.
The pleasure was all mine, Sonic. It was nice to hear from someone who, for once, saw value in peace like I do.
Still keeping a smile, the blur started to make his way out the door when the professor stopped him.
Oh, and Sonic, since you most likely don't have much to do at the moment, why don't you stick around for a little while longer? Maybe take a moment to talk to more of the students or just relax.
Liking the sound of the offer, the blur nodded. Well, I guess I can stick around a little longer before I leave. And when the time comes, Logan began to smirk, how about we have a little rematch once I'm done speaking with the professor? And this time, for great emphasis and with a shink, Sonic watched his 3 retractable, sizable, razor-sharp metal claws launch from Logan's knuckles at the speed similar to a bullet being fired. How about we have no fancy tricks? Instead, it's just going to be us mano a mano. Smirking, the blur gave a small salute, and the man along with a chuckle. Sounds great. I'm in, Sonic said excitedly. We'll see you, Professor. With a wave, the blur exited the office and carefully shut the door, leaving the student and the master alone to their business. A little bit later, Sonic was taking a walk through the hallways of the Institute, admiring the architecture, and also thinking about what he could possibly do to pass the time.
Oh, I know what he can do to pass the time.
There's a couple things. There's a lot of things. I mean, I'm pretty sure...
Don't you mean who he could do to pass the time?
Of what I know of the X-Men, I don't think recreation is something they're lacking at Xavier's school for the Gifted.
Fair.
Let's see. Well, let's see, Sonic thought out loud. I already visited the Danger Room. I've seen the courtyard so many times I can sketch an accurate map from it from memory alone. I visited beach slabs. A few minutes after the final word, the blur immediately felt a yawn coming on, and he let it out. It was right at the idea that came rushing to his mind. Come to think of it, maybe I should take a short nap before I leave. After all, I did come all this way to visit, and I've worked myself to the bone with all that practice I got in at the Danger Room, and of course, that was that sparring match I had with Wolverine. I think I've earned myself some shut-eye before I leave. That's fair.
Yeah. You know
that sounds like a busy day.
You'd have yourself a little naparino, Sonic.
Yeah, that's absolutely a nap-justified nap.
Yeah.
Before Sonic would do anything, a familiar light blue, reflexive, and friendly face came rushing towards him when the blur couldn't help but smile back.
Hey, Sonic!
Bobby greeted.
How did the talk with the professor go?
It went pretty well, Sonic responded. You're really lucky to have someone as kind as him helping to take care of you.
You see why we like him, right?
Sonic nodded.
It's weird, isn't it? Even though not a single one of us is any relation to him, whenever he speaks to us, it feels almost like he's the caring father or uncle we never had.
I see why you think that. He's definitely a great man, Sonic replied. Anyways, what's up?
Oh, right. I was wondering, since you're clearly going to stay a little longer, would you like to game with me?
Sorry, buddy, but I think I'll pass.
Oh, I think one game wouldn't hurt.
Iceman said with a smirk.
After all, it's not like Wolverine took that much out of you, and even if he did, I'm certain sitting on a couch with a control in hand... With a control. Not a controller, a control. I'm certain sitting on a couch with a control in hand is nowhere near as exhausting as training in the Danger Room.
Well, Sonic began, his hand on his chin. Now that you mention it, after thinking about it for a few moments, the blur let out a sigh. Sorry, buddy, but I was thinking of taking a small snooze cruise. You guys got a spare bedroom where I can get some shut-eye?
Yeah, I do. It's upstairs. Specifically, it's the 7th door on your right.
Bobby.
Wait, why does Iceman have a specific spare room?
I guess it's his room?
Maybe.
You can sleep in my room. Let's go. Gonna be friendly.
Yeah.
Bobby said.
Sleep in my bed.
Bobby said, his voice showing clear disappointment. Thanks, buddy, and look, I'll tell you what. Maybe when I wake up, we'll play a little before I go, am I right? Almost immediately, Iceman perked up.
You got it.
Unfortunately, the moment he flashed a thumbs up, the hero ended up by complete accident launching a ball of frozen terror straight at the blur's hand, which immediately caused him to fall flat on his face due to the added weight of the sight of the impact, causing Bobby to wince.
Crap! I sorry!
He shouted with concerns.
Didn't mean to do that!
You read that. Crap, sorry.
I read it as it was written.
Crap, sorry.
Crap, I sorry.
Crap, I sorry. Right.
Me Bobby, me Iceman. Crap, I sorry.
Alright. After shaking him free with the pain and making it clear that Bobby wasn't mad, the blur wasted no time and headed upstairs, following the exact direction the Iceman provided. Right as he reached the target room, he quickly noticed two figures in a bedroom on his left, which prompted him to halt. Of course, his mind was telling him to get into his room and ignore what was taking place, but if there was one thing Sonic had always been known for, it was his curiosity, and soon it got the better of him, which resulted in him taking just a tiny peek of what was going on, and the moment he saw the gal in yellow and green and a familiar Cajun fellow in a leather trench coat listen to their voices, he knew right then and there that if he was discovered, he'd be one dead hedgehog.
Don't you lie to me. I know exactly what I saw.
Rogue began, her voice full of protest.
I saw you open the kissing storm. How could you?
It was just a misunderstanding, mon ami. I don't have feelings for dear Storm.
A misunderstanding? Then tell me, what did I see back there?
A simple accident. Nothing to be so...
Wait, oh. Sorry. Rogue is being very polite right now.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
The heroine began, crossing her arms.
But most accidents don't end up open French kissing in a room.
Well, it ends like that for drunkards. Rogue couldn't help but sigh in frustration.
Remy, if you were drunk, I swear I'd be able to sense it before even you could. Besides, I seen you drunk. What I saw out there, that was preventable.
Realizing he was running out of options faster than teens going through money at a casino.
What?
I guess
what a weird metaphor.
Well, I get it. An 18-year-old in the casino. I guess, yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Technically, I feel like you could have used a better
wording.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to remember if you need to be 21. I don't know.
I would guess you need to be 21 to get into a casino. It's been a long time since I've been at a casino.
Yeah, I completely forgot if it was 18 or 21,
But, like, they just bring you drinks at a casino.
Yeah, so I think that's right. Okay, yeah. Alright. The quick-witted Gambit found himself, for the first time ever, completely cornered, and just when he thought he had something going, the fiery Southern Belle lit up before he could.
And what was that you said about her? I think it went something like, Dear Storm, is that right?
Gambit opened his mouth to speak, his desire clearly being to prove his innocence, and yet, oddly enough, he let out no words, or at least, he eventually did let them out, but they were not words he was hoping for. Shit.
As I expected.
Rogue began.
I can't believe you did this to me.
Desperately, Gambit outstretched one hand. Mon ami, please. Without any hesitation, Rogue slipped his hand away.
Don't moan on me, bub. This ship has long sailed. I'm through with this. I can't take it anymore. I gave you a second chance when you almost kissed Kitty, and now you kissed Aurora. Aurora.
Yeah.
I can't take this anymore.
Well, technically it was 3, because that was the time with realizing that he just said in that moment could have quite possibly be the worst thing anyone could ever do. Almost immediately, Gambit's brain went into full panic mode the moment he saw the enraged Rogue start to turn and make her way out. He quickly rushed to grab her arm. Anna, please. I'll make it up to you, I promise. Almost immediately, without hesitation, the heroine jerked her elbow at the Cajun's stomach, the impact being strong enough that as she heard, to send him stumbling to the wall behind him.
Wait, impact being strong enough as she heard to send him stumbling into the wall behind him.
Yeah.
Fucking, okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Not willing to let that happen, though. She quickly grabbed a fistful of his jacket and lifted him up high.
Forget it. We're done, mon ami.
Right then and there, that was when the Blue took his leave without any hesitation. He charged for the 7th door to shut it. Phew, that was a close one, Sonic said, wiping the sweat off his brow. Now to get some sleep. Fuck, Sonic.
Fucking shit, Sonic.
There's a way earlier. Okay, I get that Sonic is all about the tea. And if you see someone arguing, there is a part of you that's like, I need to just listen.
Yo, the grocery store's open. I'm getting that tea.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
But Damn.
I don't care if either of them could yeet me right out of existence.
Both of them could do that. Not take a lot.
Do it for the tea.
I think one or both of them have nearly done that, just that, to
Yeah.
the entire world.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's see. Finally, with the privacy he desired, to fuck you.
Fuck you, Sonic, you piece of shit.
You were private. No one knew you were there. You're their privacy.
I sure am tired from eavesdropping. Finally, I just get to be myself, you know?
I just love it. I just love it. The blur stretched his arms out, let out a yawn, and then with as much grace as anyone would expect from someone who spent their entire day sparring with a deadly Trayman simulator and spying on his friends, he just let himself fall forward on the bed, and after taking a few seconds to get into a position he felt most comfortable in, he was out cold. Seconds later, the leader of the X-Men, Cyclops, was walking down the hallway to his room, his costume partially torn and body scarred from another intense training session in the danger room.
That Sentinel simulation took a lot out of me.
He thought to himself.
I need to get some...
Immediately he steps for silence the moment he saw the body of his friend Gambit being sent flying from Rogue's room and into the wall, the impact causing a hairline crack to develop right in the center. Right before he could rush to help his friend out, Hero was quite possibly the angriest yell Rogue could ever have ever given out.
And stay the hell out!
Moments later, she slammed the door shut. Taking a moment to regain his bearings, the faithful leader then rushed to tend to Gambit as though he didn't have a second to spare.
Remy, are you alright?
The leader asked with his concern in his tone as he slung one arm over him. Partially, this is just me being bad at, literacy.
Yeah, but that's not all of your fault.
That's fair.
It's also, there's so many run-on sentences and,
those are the best.
Paragraph-sized sentences, and there's, very little... anything.
Yeah, I love it.
Some lines don't even have quotes around them. Some lines happen and then are immediately attributed to somebody who isn't, the one talking.
That's all. Yeah. I know. Look, this is the part I love about it.
This is the part where the fanfic breaks down.
This is the part where the fanfic gets good. Because now we've seen it. We've seen everything that it's going to throw at us. And now we're just in it for the plot. And this is where I'm there. Right,
now we're invested.
Yeah. I've been through worse. Gambit replied with a smirk, trying his best to remain cool. But I appreciate the help.
Can you stand?
Still smirking, Remy quickly grabbed his cane from his back and propped himself up as best he could. With this I can. Remy's smirk soon faded and changed to the look of confusion when Scott merely crossed his arm and gave him what he guessed was a stern stare. What? Not in the mood for humor?
I'm usually not in the jokey mood when I've just seen a friend of mine tossed into a wall by a comrade.
Scott replied. Really? I find jokes help to numb the pain of cracked bones.
Remy, enough with the comments. What happened here?
Finally realizing that Summers wasn't in the mood for games, the Cajun let out a sigh and lightly pinched the bridge of his nose. Fine. I'll tell you, but not here because, well... Scott then watched as Remy quickly pointed to Rogue's room, which was immediately gave him the hint, and with that, the two made their way down the stairs to discuss the matter at hand and left their comrade to her own devices. While she didn't necessarily shed any tears, as it wasn't the first time that something like this had happened, Rogue still felt incredibly brokenhearted, and tried as best she could to blow out some steam, and hopefully shake the pit in her stomach that the ordeal had left her with.
I really feel I feel like this is out of character for Scott.
What?
There's no way he would have just, walked away from that conflict. Let me hear Remy's side first.
I think
he's the ultimate moral compass.
Assuming with this is something that's caught up. So maybe it's something where he's like, all right, this time's coming. But if he wants the privacy of it, then that's fine.
Maybe.
But it's more because it's by the sound of it. It sounds like knowing the X-Men, everyone knew that Remy was just sleeping around.
That's
so then if you're walking down the hallway knowing that context, and then you see that happen, you're like, oh, well, she found out.
Yeah. Maybe it's more of a okay. What did you do this time?
Also, shout out to Rogue for living in a situation where everyone would go, well, I guess this must be the time when it popped off, rather than be like, hey, what? Hey, did you know that this was happening? But then again, I don't know. When that didn't work, she then thought of Comfort, a friend to talk to be exact, one who would listen to her pain. However, all her usual she'd go to talk to for situations like this, she strangely felt no desire to visit. I wouldn't call that strange.
Maybe because your boyfriend's tried to fuck all of them?
Yeah, your boyfriend tried to fuck all of them, and, like, no one came up and told you.
Yeah.
You had to catch it in the act.
Yeah.
When it got to that level, that's not strange. I'll give it to this author. I buy the fact that she doesn't want to talk to anyone in this situation.
No, 100%. I would like, what the fuck? Why would I want to do that?
She didn't go to Kitty, Jean, or Aurora. Oro? I don't know how to pronounce. I'm bad. Hell, she even considered going to Logan, and yet no matter how much she wanted to, she for some reason couldn't motivate herself to go out and get the comfort she clearly needed.
I mean, Remy tried to fuck Logan too.
Probably.
So, you know.
Look, here's the deal. It's Gambit.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's Gambit.
He just fucks.
That's fine. After a long moment of pondering, however, finally something came to her. She had heard a little earlier that Beast as she was wrapping up a mission, but the legendary speedster and one of her many idols, Sonic, was currently at the Institute talking with the professor. I love this world.
Also, the way you said Beast, like, I had the double take when you said Beast, because I didn't know if you read, like, you misread it, or it actually said earlier from Beast.
No, I misread that. Earlier.
Oh my god, it's Beast from Beast.
Beast. Earlier Beast from Beast that she stood beat after wrapping up her Beast mission. That's just me. At first, the gal considered simply talking with him, but then, after more thought, something more came up, and once she thought back to the rush of footsteps she heard the moment earlier, the Southern Belle soonly began to smile once more as she proceeded to rub her chin.
It reminds me of, like, a Harry Partridge character. What should I do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's happened a lot, too. A lot of characters will do the thing. Well, they'll do the chin grab. For thinking. What
will the Starbarians do? I think I have an idea on how to cheer myself up. I'm gonna fuck a hedgehog.
That's not a line in there. However, Rogue idolized, I'm assuming. Minutes later, the hog was sprawled out on the bread, resting ever so peacefully.
Oh no.
He had kicked off his shoes and used the power of chaos to set them rather neatly down at the wall next to the door to get comfortable. I will never use my powers for personal use, but I will absolutely use the power of chaos to put my shoes away. I fucking love it.
That's too good.
That's no good. Leaving my shoes laying around all over the floor like that, that's no good.
Chaos control!
Chaos control! With a smile on his face and a complete lack of... Oh my...
Of gnosis. Gnosis?
I'm not smart enough for this. Hold on.
Gnosis.
I need to look this up.
No, this cannot be a real word. This has to be a mistake. No. This is not a real word.
Yeah,
wait, complete lack of noise. That's what gnosis is supposed to be.
Is it? Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, with a smile on his face and the complete lack of noise, with the exception being the
okay.
exhale.
All right, yeah. I can see.
Yeah, that's just a typo.
Okay. The complete lack of noise, with the exception being the occasional exhale of air from the hog's lunch. Everything lended itself well to one perfect nap. However, all of it was about to change when someone crept into the room, carefully laid next to the blur, and once they were sure he wasn't going to wake, they started twirling their finger in neat circles around his chest. Eventually, after a few more seconds, the blur groaned softly and let out a groggy breath as his eyes slowly pried themselves open, as mindful of wonder about who or what would want to interrupt his peaceful slumber. With one last throaty groan, the blur was almost completely awake, and he took advantage of that moment to look around the room. At first he noticed nothing, until he eventually locked eyes with the female brunette with a single white streak in her hair as a way of seductive eyes and a mischievous smirk.
Hey there, sugar.
Rogue greeted. Immediately, Sonic's defenses kicked into high gear right as his eyes were shot wide open, followed by the motion of him scooping back just a bit further, which caused him to fall flat on his ass in the polished floors. What the hell? Rogue? What are you doing in here? Can't you see I'm trying to take a nap here? Sonic shouted excitedly at the X-Men member.
Sorry about that. Didn't mean to ruin your nap.
Rogue said with insincerity in her voice. I heard a bunch of... Oh, okay.
I heard a bunch... Yeah, there's just no quotation.
No, that's fine.
I heard a bunch of footsteps during a ordeal I had, and because of what happened during that, I just thought I'd come and find you. It was a little while later when I found Bobby who told me you were where you were, and once I saw you were sleeping, well, I just thought I'd lay right beside you.
Oh, well, that's nice of you. A few seconds later, the realization hit Sonic with like a pile of bricks. Wait, what am I saying? Look, Rogue, I appreciate you wanting to keep me company and all, but I have to ask just why?
Fucking geese, shut the fuck up.
What the hell, man? Did that?
Stop ruining my recording, you fucking geese.
It's so funny if it doesn't pick up the geese.
Oh my god.
It's a part like, what the hell?
I think J-Ro's a lunatic.
I started playing. No, that was the thing. I should have played. I'll be like, what are you talking about?
Oh my god.
And have the. Oh my god. All right.
Well, just another day with schizophrenia.
J-Ro, you can't put that
I'm sorry.
God!
I'm sorry.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
All right. I was saying, look, bro, but why?
Well, that ordeal I just mentioned?
Rogue paused for a moment to take a breath and regain her composure.
It's for comfort. I just wanted someone near me because I broke up with Gambit.
Not wanting to give away that he eavesdropped on the whole situation, the Blur wisely decided to focus on not acting surprised. I'm so sorry, Rogue, but you could have asked someone else to help comfort you. Someone who's much closer to you than I am, like Bobby, for example.
True, I could have, but when I thought about it and how much this happened before, I felt that it wouldn't help. However, knowing you, however, and how apparently you dealt with some heartbreak in your life, well, I just thought it'd be better for this time if I came to you.
Having softened up a considerable amount, Sonic stood up with his tone showing far less anger and shock. Is that so? Well, in that case, join me on the bed and tell me what's going on. The Blur made his way back to the bed and Rogue lying beside him. Once he was within cuddle distance, the Southern Belle embraced the Blur, and with the latter using his powers to thankfully negate the deadly effects of the heroine's touch. Once that was done, Sonic returned to the embrace and wrapped his arms around her. When they were in the position, it was then that Rogue told him everything about what had happened between her and Gambit. And while he didn't know about it from that about that encounter, she then went further to explain She went further and went over how this wasn't the first time this had happened, which caused the Blur to feel about all the more sorry for her, and also only convinced him to tighten his embrace.
Okay, I hate the sentence and I have to go back to it.
Okay, what's that? Go for it. I know it.
The Southern Belle embraced the Blur, with the latter using his powers to thankfully negate the deadly effects of the heroine's touch.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never use my powers for personal gain, unless it's for pussy or shoes!
Well, in this instance, I will say that I can buy this with Sonic. I mean, like, the shoes thing is just like, it's just like hand-waving and dumb, but it's just basically like, oh, these powers are nothing. But if someone who, if touches you, can kill you, says, I want a hug right now, and you have the power to make it so you can hug her.
But why didn't it affect him when he was sleeping and she was touching him? She was touching his chest.
But
what
that confuses me more is, you're right. But, like, so then means that she had the gloves on. So she was just doing it with the glove.
Which makes sense to me.
Yeah, and then he gets up, and then...
Did she take the
gloves off and her shirt off for the embrace? Like, if she's gonna hold by now,
hold on, sugar. I don't know if you know things here at the X-Men Academy, but we get naked before we hug.
This is headcanon I have not caught up on the X-Men. Really, tell me?
Yo, Marvel, since their last reboot's gotten real desperate for views.
Oh my god! They've had to find a way to ruin the X-Men, so they just started making it a porn.
I'd rather read that than their woke New Warriors.
Alright, look. We ain't getting into this.
We're not going to talk about Safe Space and Snowflake?
Listen, Safe Space is my favorite. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, but can we talk about at least the Trailblazer is just Dora the Explorer?
Yeah, that's fine.
What the fuck? I'm
fine with this. That way I can headcanon the Dora Explorer is in the Marvelverse.
That means Dora the Explorer is open game for Sonic's Ultimate Harem.
Oh my god. You fuck. I guess so. I hope not. Let's go. Hey, it's okay. I'm sorry to hear what happened to you, Sonic Comfort.
I'm sorry. Oh, God. Okay, I'm good.
I'm very scared for how this is going to go because I read the... Okay. Sonic comforted. Don't let Remy get you down. What he did was terrible, sure, but remember, you've got a whole group of friends who love and respect you that he fucked.
That won't tell you that they
It
fucked.
didn't tell you that he was fucking. You don't need Remy to make you happy, and I'm sure that no matter who the member is, they'll be willing to do whatever they can to show you that you're valued.
No quotation at the end, but that's fine.
No, listen, I've accepted it at this point.
Thanks, Sonic. That's just what I needed.
Rogue said with a small smile. No problem. Helping others is what I do. It doesn't matter if they're sad, angry, or hurt physically and or mentally. I'll do whatever it takes to make them feel better. Seeing how much brighter Rogue's smile became, it was then that Sonic felt that he could take a load off his conscience. Hey, Rogue, can I be honest with you?
Anytime. What is it?
You see, I heard everything in your room while you and Gambit were having that fight, Sonic said, lowering his head in shame. I'm sorry for your eavesdropping.
Oh, it's okay.
Rogue said with a smile, using her hand to prop his head up.
You didn't know we were dating, and it was a pretty open area. Anyone could have heard, really.
True, but when I helped you that one time in a fight against the Brotherhood, I could tell you guys were very close to one another, and considering my own experiences, honestly, that sort of hit me.
I like how every time he talks about that one time he helped them fight the Brotherhood, he has to mention that he helped them fight against the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Like, every fucking time he brings it up. Hey, it's alright, sugar.
Rogue reassured.
I'm not mad. Remy's the one I'm pissed at. You, on the other hand, were just someone who on accident wound up hearing something you shouldn't have. And so you let your curiosity get the better of you. It happens to the best of people. Hell, it happens to me. There's no need to feel so ashamed.
Thanks, Rogue, Sonic said with a smile. A few minutes of silence had passed, the two of them having nothing to say, and after waiting a bit to see if Rogue was the one willing to break the silence, and after noticing that she wasn't going to speak, the blur finally took in a deep breath and broke everything. So, what's the next step? Are you going to find a new love to see how things go with them, or are you going to remain single to give yourself some time to heal your broken heart?
Yo, Sonic hits her with that, yo, we fucking or what?
Just 2 minutes later.
It's okay, Rogue. You'll find your place in this world, and you have great friends who will help you. So, I'll see you later. We'll bang, okay?
Dude, I guess when you're embraced with someone and you're just kind of looking at each other, there's a point where you're like, alright, before I start thinking.
You know what? That's actually a good point. I did forget that they are still hugging.
They are just cradling each other in bed. They're embracing in bed. They're embracing on a bed and opening up about a very emotional time.
Yeah, you're right.
It's going to cause some feels.
It's going to cause some...
And he did it in the proper way of being like, hey, so are you going to go with anyone else? I'll let you make the first move if I'm on that list. Fucking nice guy out of 10 bullshit.
Fucking nice guy trademark.
That's the best
Oh
thing.
shit! I dropped my pen cap.
I mean, that's how you do it, man.
Yeah, sometimes you hug a mutant. Sometimes you drop a pen cap. That's life.
That's what you do.
Where were we?
I'm leaning more.
I'm leaning more towards the latter for now. I gave Remy far too many chances, and with him blowing this one, I don't feel like dating away is a good option.
Well, either way, I wish you only the best.
Thanks.
Rogue again.
Though, come to think of it, if we're to speed up the process, I think I need something more to help make me feel a little better. The confident was nice, but I could use something more.
Like what, a kiss? Sonic asked jokingly. Rogue smiled, but she did not give an answer, or at least he did not get it vocally. A few seconds later, the Southern Belle climbed on top of the blur and sat on his lap, her clothed crotch just barely grazing against his. Without any hesitation, she then followed it up by pressing her hands against the hog's firm chest, all the while her gaze was locked on the blurs, who wasn't exactly scared, as most men would be, but rather, he was more curious about what was going on, which Rogue could tell by how one of his eyebrows was cocked upward. Though she could still tell through the tone of his voice that he was at least slightly concerned. Rogue, what are you doing? Sonic asked.
Why do you sound so afraid?
Rogue asked with a giggle. God. Why wouldn't I be? One moment you're clearly depressed and yearning for comfort, and the next moment you're straddling me. Most gals don't exactly do that.
True, but you see, Sonic, I am still mad. I am still hurting inside, and so I thought to help make the pain go away,
The gal leaned down until she was just inches away from the blur's face.
I'd have some fun with you.
Okay. What do you mean by that? Not saying a single word.
This is how I know Sonic doesn't have sex.
Not saying a slight word. Anna kept her seductive smile and remained in her current position.
Hold on, I lost my place. Oh, you and me are gonna spend some time together in this room, and it will be the best night ever. Oh, and if you're concerned about someone discovering us, not to worry. I locked the door when I came in. No one gonna be crashing this.
Rogue explained. Wait a minute, Sonic began, the gears in his head finally turning. Are you telling me what I think? As quickly as it began, his sentence was silenced by a finger to his lips.
Shh. Don't speak. Just relax.
Feeling all his defenses having finally broken down, J.Ro immediately drops his pen in complete frustration of how much he's loving this.
Yes.
Lord could do nothing but nod his head in response as his hormones slowly started to take control. With his seductive smile still present, Rogue leaned in closer, and in what felt like a flash, her lips locked on with Blur's. Without any more hesitation, the Blur kissed back as hard as he could, thus beginning their makeout session. As the hormones started to tighten their control on the Blur, his arms immediately started sneaking themselves around Anna's figure, which led to her wrapping her arms around his neck in response. Soon the Blur's hands were skillfully starting to caress the gal's bod, and eventually find themselves moving down to her waist. As time went on, the two of them began to deepen the kiss, which soon led the air around them. Wait, what? Which led to the air around them as well as the act becoming far more steamy and erotic.
The air around them was so erotic.
This is steamy. Oh my god.
Oh, that erotic CO2.
Soon their tongues were brutally wrestling with each other. Deciding to make things a bit more interesting, Rogue released one of her hands from around his neck.
Has Rogue just been strangling him the whole time?
I know she means that she's like cradling around his neck because his arms around her. She wrapped her arms around his neck.
Listen, I'm going to keep the headcanon where this whole time Rogue has been strangling him while tongue fucking his mouth.
Dude, listen. Based on this, I can get with some more serious Rogue F-Dom at this point.
Oh yeah, 100%.
This is fine. I was just not expecting it.
Yeah. Rogue is just like, I'm taking control, sugar. Now we can do this the easy way. We can do this the hard way.
Are you going to be a good boy tonight? Deciding to make things okay. Around his neck and made his way down to his clothed crotch and gave it a gentle squeeze. The sudden sensation causing him to let out a muffled moan, which encouraged him to kiss her back even harder.
If a girl breaks into your room while you're napping and convinces you to get into CBT, that's no good.
That's good. That's old school YouTube poop fucking.
That's good.
That's good. Everybody has a right to just
old school fucking YouTube. If a girl comes into your room and makes you do cock and ball torture, that's good.
That's good. Everyone has a right to give you the call torture. I fucking love YouTube. Thank you, everyone listening, for continuing the trend of watching dumbass shit on the internet.
Thank God for you. Somebody needs to keep it up.
After a little while longer, the two went back to a classic kiss on the lips and remained like that for a few more seconds. After those seconds were up, they finally broke their union to get some air.
Whew. Now that was possibly the sweetest, most tender kiss I've ever had. Way better than Gambit!
Rogue commented, licking her lips. For you it was, Sonic said breathlessly. Forgive me for not sounding so enthused, but I'm not exactly the most appreciative of nearly getting suffocated to death, Sonic reminded.
Oh, don't be such a sourpuss, sugar. You were just caught off guard by a touch to the crotch. It wasn't that bad.
Stopping for a moment, Sonic put his hand on his chin and gave it a good thought.
What should Sonic do in this situation?
God, I love it. After all, he never really had something like that happen to him before, and even then, he knew that from Charles that the last thing Rogue would want to do to anyone was to hurt them, and so after a bit and with a sigh, he finally relaxed. You make a very good point. Guess I'm just not that very used to it.
Really?
Rogue asked, her tone full of surprise.
Well, tell me, how are you enjoying it Oh, it looks like I already have my answer.
Sonic watched as the girl froze in place, with the only part of that moved before being her eyes, which shot towards his rather uncomfortable bulge in his pants, the sight of which caused the gal's smile to grow. I'm going to say I'm confused on the positioning, because I thought that she was straddling him.
I guess she, like, I don't know, leaned up, so now,
I guess so?
So now she can look down towards his crotch?
Interesting.
I'm not sure, because the doesn't describe anything well. Oh my, it looks like it's being strangled. Here, I'll help it breathe a little.
Rogue cooed. A few seconds later, the Southern Belle wasted no time in climbing off the blur, which left her once more right beside him. And once she had the perfect position, she wasted no time and proceeded to undo the buttons and zipper of the cargo pants. And after a few more seconds, she finally unveiled his 9.5-inch pride and joy.
I keep forgetting he's wearing cargo pants. Which just makes this so much better. He's dressed up. Oh my god, what is that one fucking, that one picture? It's like, while you trained in sports, I studied the blade. The guy with the fucking katana on his back.
Yeah.
And he's got the cargo pants, the trench coat, the fingerless gloves, and the fedora.
Yeah, I know exactly.
That's what Sonic's dressed like.
That's Sonic. Yeah, that's just Sonic.
I get laid, Mario, okay? I'm like, I have the sex all times.
Listen, that means is not going to be happy until Sonic calls someone my lady.
Oh my god.
I will absolutely love trying to voice Sonic and saying milady.
Listen, he fucks several princesses throughout the course of this journey. So I'm sure it happens.
Spoilers! I was getting into the fact that Sonic X Rogue could be a good shit. Are you telling me that there's... I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry. I've ruined this.
I've ruined
the course of action is to commit seppuku.
Oh, fuck. Pleasantly surprised with the length of as well as his thickness, Rogue licked her lips and proceeded to wrap her hand around the base, which was followed up by a nice little test stroke, which caused the blur to shiver with pleasure.
Looks like someone's excited,
Rogue said with a chuckle.
Hey, if you don't mind, is it fine if I have a taste, sugar?
Considering how he was practically on cloud 9 and would obviously be insane to stop now, the Bormals instantly gave the gal permission to proceed, and then without any hesitation, the girl proceeded to stroke it a little bit and more as a small warm-up. Once that was done, the Southern Belle started to slowly engulf the hard cock, and with every inch as she went down for... Fucking... Okay, hold on. So it engulfed the hard cock, and with every inch she went down, causing the blur to groan more and more hoarsely. Once it was completely sheathed inside her mouth, she then proceeded to bob her head up and down his massive length. After a few more seconds, the hog let his head recede more into the pillow and his eyes closed, the only sounds he made being something of some late moans along with the occasional muttered curse that Rogue worked her magic. As the time passed, the heroine soon started to pick up the paces, her head slipping up and down far more speedily, to the point where she was slobbering all over his length. After a little while had passed, she paused for a brief moment once at the base and let the cock sit at the back of her throat for a few minutes before proceeding to slide up to tease the head with her tongue, twirling round and round, the entire experience sending shivers down Sonic's spine. Oh, fuck, Sonic moaned.
Think we can get a sponsor to produce this video?
No, we can't.
Let me tell you about Raid Shadow Legends. We'll get right back to...
Here's the thing.
We'll get right back to Sonic fucking this girl's throat. Let's talk about Raid Shadow Legends.
The more and more I watch YouTube videos and I see people getting sponsorships for doing doing shit, where I'm like, I know for a fact there was one time where like sponsors will never watch someone like sit there and fangirl over a fandom for like 6 hours, but like other YouTubers have done that. Shout out to Coley Does Things, she's cool, but like she did that and I respect her hustle because
was that video sponsored?
I think it was. I don't know.
Well, like, I know, like, a lot of her videos are, like, actual, like, reviews, which makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
But, like, even, I mean, subject matter aside, it still makes sense to me.
Dude, I love it. All I know is that I love the fact, I love this. I love everything.
Thanks, YouTube, for letting us put this on the internet. For
YouTube,
everyone to watch.
Listen.
Forever. I hope this is the first thing that future job givers see when they Google my name.
It's gonna happen. And they're like, you're the guy who read that. And you're like, no, my friend did.
I only voiced some of the characters.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything about Sonic the Hedgehog's cock sliding up and down her throat.
Stopping after another short to bobbing her head, the gal pulled free from the hog's engorged member and quickly spat on her hand, which she followed up by using the same hand to rapidly stroke him.
Calling him the hog right now is so good. What an amazing creative choice.
The second time they called him the hog, I was like, this is going to be amazing. Because I knew that they have like a set number of nicknames per character and just switch them out one by one, which is cool. And that's what a lot of people do. But
the hog's engorged member.
I think hog's engorged member.
You like that, baby?
Rogue questioned her intense gaze with the blur locked in with the blur zone. With pleasure being so great, all Sonic could do in response was nod, but even if he did want to say something, he'd never be able to do, since the amount of time it'd take for his answer to be out. The gal was already back to exploring his mouth with her tongue, and this was happening while she was jacking him off. As the time went on and he continued to stare down at the gloved hand pumping his member like it was one of those bottled milkshakes, the blue blur was trying to piece together how this could have happened.
Oh, hey, I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. I bet you're wondering, how did I get here?
How did I get into this situation where I'm getting jerked off by Rogue?
Oh my gosh.
I love this. Of course, deep down he should have known that this was either due to his hormones, or if he really wanted to be a dick to himself, it could have been that he was a spineless and couldn't say no, but those thoughts were... He was spineless and couldn't say no, but the thoughts were either buried down deep in his mind or they never existed in the first place because he sure as hell couldn't bring him out. So does Sonic not want this?
I don't think he I think this is very dubious.
Everything happened far too fast for really see it coming. One moment, the blur was just taking a nap. After that, Rogue came in and thought he was just being a friend by comforting her, and now he was being pleasured by the same girl, almost as though nothing had happened, and it all came to the span of minutes.
So I really think, like, Sonic was just taking a nap, and then this girl was mad at her boyfriend, so she just walked in and was like, hey, I'm leaving with your virginity. Let's go!
I don't think Sonic's a virgin.
I think Sonic's a virgin.
I think Sonic acts like a virgin.
So what's the difference?
Like, I don't know, because...
Listen, when he tells Mario he had sex, Mario's like, what? You have had a sex? You? Sonic the Hedgehog? There's no way Sonic is not a virgin. I will die on this hill, Mark!
Well, we're watching him not be. So,
well, no, we're
watch your hell die before you. He's getting his dick sucked by Rogue from the X-Men.
Yeah.
Because his chaos powers prevent him from dying from Rogue from the X-Men.
I'll never use my powers for personal gain unless I really need to nut.
Unless some girl really wants to swallow my dick. Then yeah, I'll do it for her. So she can suck my dick.
Oh my god. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're reading Sonic losing his virginity.
Okay. Alright.
I would argue that.
Alright. I'll buy into this right now. Let's say, what could have happened? The blur asked himself. Was there something in the air? Was it something he did? Was it something he did? Did it have something to do with chaos energy?
I don't think that's supposed to be a quote.
I think it's like
because he asked himself, is it something he did?
Yeah, no, it's definitely so. The way that this would usually be written out, and what I've seen, you'd write these in italics and not quotes.
Yes,
or you'd use one apostrophe.
Or like they could even be their own sentences. Like the blur questioned himself. Was it something in the air? Was it something he did?
Yeah, no, you can write it like that. But if you want to have like these are the actual thoughts of the conscious of the character, you'd write them in italics.
Right, but you also wouldn't be. You would also say, was it something I did, not something he did?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's nitpicky. But
listen, it's fan fiction, and fan fiction, like, there's no insult to this because at the same time, it's like this has probably been a few years since it's been written. So, like, all this information, it's also just funny, and you gotta love fan fiction is amazing in that, like, you get this amateurish quality of people who like don't know how to do things exactly the way they're supposed to, but want to tell a story and want to do it in fun ways. And sometimes you get mashups like this where they're just like, this person, I feel like, definitely has a lot of skill in writing, but was like, I just need to write something to get off right now. And just came up with this series. And like...
Well, and see, that's one of the reasons, like... That's one of the reasons I'm, like, a little harsher on critiquing, like, fanfics.
Yeah.
Is because, like... Not even because they're smut. I think that's fine. I have no, like, ethical issue with that. My thing is, like, I know you're not professional writers.
Yeah.
Which is why I want to tell you everything you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
It's not like, they're so shitty they didn't put quotations where there's a quote. It's like, I want you to be better, and if you want to be a better writer, this is what you need to do.
Yeah, it's just what proofreading. It's what you get by, like, having someone who's, like, proofreading.
And I understand... I mean, unless you're part of, like, an online community, like, you're not gonna send your friend, like, Sonic smut you wrote to proofread.
Yeah.
Mark, if I write Sonic smut, I would send it to you.
Send it to me, dude.
I will send it to you to
I will
proofread.
freaking print it out like an English teacher, and I'll write on with red ink, and I'll circle and write comments and stuff like that.
Yo, fuck yeah, new JRO fanfic.
When I send you the fanfiction I'm writing...
my fanfic,
that's what I want.
My Sonic fanfic is going to be Eggman, X-Grounder, X-Scratch.
I don't know half of those characters.
Oh.
So
I'll show you, boy.
I'm scared. Alright, here we go.
One has drills for hands.
Okay. I am so hyped for this, you don't understand. Alright. All this and more never really got answered until much later. At least one thing was certain. To Sonic, this was one of the best things to ever happen to him in his life. Instead of trying to reject his feelings, he was going to embrace every moment of his enjoyment. After about a minute or two, the blurred shrugged off all his worry and concern was kissing back harder than ever before. The intimate but one-sided dance was becoming a thing of the past, as the two pink bits of flesh were now like two ticked-off pythons trying their best to strangle the life out of one another.
What?
Which was more than a nice surprise for the mutant, who was absolutely reveling and not reveling in not just the attention he was giving her, but just how much it was better than it was than the Gambits in every single way.
Jesus.
That was, yeah.
Fucking harsh.
Yeah. Okay, that's why. That's the first L looked like an I. And so I was like, wait, what? And then, like, when you said that, I'm like, oh, fuck. Yeah, like I said, that's just me.
Yeah.
The feel of his tongue struggling for dominance against hers, the way his hands caressed every curve and bump.
This sounds like a terrible kiss. This sounds like terrible kissing they're doing. It sounds like they're just mashing tongues together.
Sometimes you get real passionate, dude.
No, but not like they're like wrangling around each other, like they're getting into it. Like they're actually just like
they're just dude. Some people are weird, man. I've had ex-girlfriends who do that.
Just trying to like face fuck you
just
with their
like,
tongue.
Kind of on top and like headbutt me. Yeah. As like way of like and like fuck. Like, this just happens. As it was like fine wine, it was so delicious and intoxicating, which left Rogue wondering if he was only going to get better with age, since for all she knew, this was the first time, and yet here he was, massaging her almost like he had done this over 100 times before. It was so good, in fact, that she regretted not having pushed his hands away and see the disappointment in his eyes.
So, I want to jump back to the fact that we have a very untrustworthy narrator.
Uh-huh.
This is Sonic's narration. As he is telling to Mario in this little diner they're in. Mario, who's sitting there with like his arms crossed, leaning back, drinking like his coffee and eating an entire pie because Sonic's paying for it. And Sonic's like, yeah, like we had the sex and she like pinned me down and started like sexing me, right? And like I was like, whoa, sex! And like I was like grabbing her and she's like, oh man, this is the bestest sex I've ever did sex.
Way better than my ex-boyfriend.
She was like, yo, you're so much better than my ex-boyfriend. Oh my god. It's like when Chris Chan had sex with the hooker. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And he went on about how, like, she kept talking about how much better he was than the last John she was with.
Yeah.
This is fantasy. This is all Sonic's fantasy. None of this is real. We have the most untrustworthy narrator. Right. And he's like, oh yeah, and we were kissing like our tongues were punching each other. Listen. Sonic's a virgin. That's my point.
Listen, I can't trust Sonic I can't not trust Sonic in cargo shorts. That's my point.
He's dressed like an incel. He's got here.
Don't do this, man. Don't rip on cargo shorts like this.
Yo, no. It's not just the cargo shorts. The cargo shorts themselves would be one thing. But also understand, he is wearing the cargo shorts, his sneakers,
The black fingerless gloves.
the black fingerless gloves, and the black cut-off t-shirt. I thought that was your soda for a second, and I was going to be livid.
No, it's instead
I'm
your
fine.
controller.
Throw my controllers around the room.
I'm
whatever.
so sorry.
But as long as you don't spill fucking Coca-Cola all over my floor.
Oh, I'm good. I got you. I won't do that.
Okay.
However, that wouldn't last long. A few minutes later, following the period of her jacking him off, which with only her only stopping every now and then to spin on his cock to lube it up, the gal finally decided it was time to get his lower region reacquainted with her oral cavity. After one
Sonic used that line when he was retelling the story. You know it, I know it, and he looked Mario dead in the eyes and was like, yeah, and she was like jerking me off, but then she wanted to get my lower region reacquainted with her oral cavity. You know it. You know it. You look at his cargo shorts and tell me it's not true.
No, I can't. That absolutely happened. After one final kiss, Rogue turned her attention back to the twitching, eager rod and sucked it right back into her mouth, with Sonic letting a soft moan escape his lip following the return of the comforting warmth.
So good.
Noticing the Blur's newly developed grin, the mutant decided it was time to go all in and like what she did before, and deep-throated all 9 or so inches of its massive shaft. A move that caught the hog completely off guard, and it didn't take long for him to really get back into it, especially once he heard the light bits of gagging. After a few more seconds holding down the pull of flesh, Anna went right back into her groove and started bobbing her head once more, at the pace increasing with seeming every passing second. Now completely under the influence of his pleasure and with muttered curse, the Blur shut his eyes and his hand instinctively finding a resting place on the mutant's head, a sign that the gal correctly took as him not wanting her to halt her magic. A few minutes passed, and not once has Rogue decreased the pace for even a second. As for the Blur, he was at the point where he was starting to feel that the intensity was finally catching up to him. His muscles tensed and twitched, his grip on the gal's hair tightened almost to uncomfortable levels. The veins in his neck were bulging, and although he couldn't see it, he assumed this was about to be said about his member. Through all this combined with the increasing heat within his loins, the hedgehog knew he was close and that it was only a matter of time before he'd finally blow. But like he did with all his battles, he tried his best to hold out for just a little bit longer, a move that the gal instantly noticed.
Trying to resist it, huh?
Rogue thought, his lips instantly desiring to curl into an evil grin.
Try resisting this! This isn't even my final form!
I'm hearing frickin' You Say Run from My Hero Academia in the background right now, and it's fucking with me. With that, the mutant completely took the Blur by surprise with the addition of her hand twisting up and down its length. At the same time, her head was still bobbing, causing the Blur to start sweating and cursing in a matter of seconds as he still tried to keep his cool. Finally, after several long minutes of enduring the torture, the Blur's muscles just gave out, and with that came the explosion. Fuck! The moment he sounded off that cry, it almost was like a warning that came seconds too late, as right when he was on the verge of saying it, jet after jet of his sperm came bubbling and launching from his folds into the girl's mouth. Right then, Rogue's eyes came shooting open and seemingly endless waves of spunk kept pounding the back of his throat. This caught her off guard so much in fact, that the gal was actually at first trying to pull away, but eventually, once she got used to the salty and yet surprisingly very sweet taste, she remained on it and kept sucking, which of course prompted a scream from the Blur. After the climax finally ended, Rogue pulled away from the surprisingly still fairly hard shaft and swallowed the remaining cum, and once she felt slide comfortably down her gullet, she licked her lips.
Now that was tasty.
Rogue commented with a smirk. Looking over at the Blur, the gal was rather surprised to find him in quite a daze, his face looking as though he was seeing stars. After having a small giggle, she leaned in closer to the speedster and gave him a quick peck on the cheek. The motion then prompted him to snap out of it and quickly jerk his head toward the hero.
Did you enjoy that, Sugar?
Rogue asked. It felt incredible, Sonic said, his voice slightly hoarse. I'll take it you've done this before?
A few times with Gambit, yes. What a weird fucking question.
Sorry, you've done this before?
How many dicks you suck, Rogue? How many dicks?
How many dicks have you
I'm
sucked?
34. 34 dicks. My girlfriend sucked 34 dicks.
Oh my god. A few, you say? Because from my point of view, it almost seems like you've been doing this your whole life. You were a pro. The hero giggled at the compliment.
Oh my god, Sonic. Look, it seems like to me that you've been sucking dick since you were a baby.
Since forever!
Oh, thank you. You made studying all those positions and actions feel way less pointless.
You're very welcome, the Blur said with a smile.
What is happening?
And for the record, after experiencing that, I think Gambit made a terrible choice.
Sonic's a virgin. Case in point.
Realizing that he was about to say had the potential of destroying the mood, the Blur tried, keyword being tried, to change the subject. You know what? I just think I'm going to stop talking now.
Smart move. And while we're at it...
Taking advantage of that window of time, Anna positioned herself to where his crosssuit was just grazing his shaft, with her hands completely rushing to slip right out of her jacket.
Why don't we get right into the real action?
That's a way to get into it.
Yeah.
In response, the Blur almost immediately, and in complete contrast to how he was moments before, flashed into a seductive look at the girl, complete with a smirk to match. Baby, you just read my mind.
And you know what? We're at an hour. So let's take a break here. Next time on JRO Plays, we read more of Sonic's Ultimate Harem and we get right into the real action.
Sonic got dick sucked!
Sonic's a virgin and a nice guy trademark. Fight me.
Yeah.